Welcome everyone to this most amazing summit. We're gathered together in Sacred Circle to honor and celebrate the different contributions that women are making all over the world to the different fields and the combined fields of sacred activism, wild earth wisdom, and global healing. We are wise women rising, and I truly invite you in our time together to really feel into what we're talking about and what we're sharing and experiencing today, and to just allow it to speak to you so that you can get maybe some movement, some clarity, whatever it is that is meant to be your experience today. I'm Alison Palmer, I'm your host, and I am delighted to introduce you today to Sarah Weiss. Now, please read her bio underneath here because, she's done so much. She's truly accomplished and she's bringing all of that wisdom to our sacred circle. That said, I am going to just say a few words about her so that you get an idea of, what she's been doing. So Sarah is a daughter of Mother Earth, and she's a teacher of feminine spiritual mysteries. And for over 50 years, she's been training in many ancient traditions. She is a recognized teacher in the Sufi healing lineage, Andean shamanic lineage, and Taoist healing lineage. And so you can see what that breadth is going to bring, as well as the depth. And basically, she's just passionate to helping us awaken to the divinity that is within us. So that said, welcome, Sarah.
Thank you, Alison. It is such a pleasure to be with you and be in your sacred space. Thank you.
Well, it is brilliant to have you here, and I want to just share with people, remind people what it is, the topic of our conversation today, because it's truly just delicious. The new Earth Wise Woman. Doesn't that just, it's just an energy there that is totally inviting. Align with the forces of creation and you become a creative force. I love that. I just so really want to be in that space. So I'm excited to explore this with you. New Earth Wise Woman. That's like, tell me what you mean by the New Earth Wise Woman. Yes, just I'm going to stop there so you can go with it.
Okay, so in the greater scope of things, we are entering into the new earth, into a new paradigm, into the Aquarian age. But not only the Aquarian age, we are entering into a new 26,000-year cycle. There are many enfolded cycles that are all coming together right now that we are shifting into in this immediate time right now. I mean, it's happening. And we can look at the effect of that all around us as everything is shifting. It's kind of like earthquakes on every level of our being to reveal the newer, truer being that we are. But not only that, it's opening up a space where the feminine is fertile again. We have been in a time that has not been fertile for women and for the feminine wisdom. It's been hidden. And up till just recently, we have been conditioned to hide who we are. And we even hide it from ourselves out of safety. And so we are reconnecting on multiple levels with the wisdom teachings that have been libraried, cataloged in the ethers here, that we can reconnect to and start bringing alive in this new sacred space that is happening right now. And I've been watching this, for over 50 years in my studies. When I first started teaching, and this was in the early 80s, all the people in my class were men, all men. This was early 70s. And I would say to them, where are your wives? Oh, they're taking care of the kids. You know? And then there started to be a shift as we got into the late 80s. And some women started showing up. And now the classes, you know, it swung to predominantly women. And now they're starting to balance out a little bit more. But I'm really excited for this time. I feel like I've been waiting for this for 71 years, for this moment in time where this opens up for us.
Wow, yes. And it's so interesting that you say, you know, we've been hiding the feminine and hiding her from ourselves as well in order to keep safe. And I really feel that. I felt it before you said it. You know, I was thinking, yes, we're hiding. And then you said it as well. And I know that so many women are feeling this too. But with that, for me at least, is this sense of difficulty in terms of being so successful at hiding her, and learning all these mechanisms just in this earth walk, let alone the previous ones, so that, you know, so that I've hidden her from myself. It seems like that's quite a thing to overcome. You know, we're so, it's almost like we've built all these brick walls and somehow we need to find a way through them. And so I just wondered, you know, I'd love you to comment on that actually, first of all, and just, you know, give us some ideas about how we can, because it's not just how we can start to dismantle that or come out of hiding, because there's many things in that, I think, but also how do we recognize something that we've been hiding within ourselves?
I think there's a few things that will help us in that. First of all, the frequencies that are coming into the earth now, the higher frequency light energies and vibrations that are coming in because of the position of Mother Earth in the total galactic field. We are being bathed in high frequencies that will naturally begin to unfold us from within. So in that way, we're highly supported and we don't need to do anything. So it's not about an effort. And it's going to start really supporting us from within to have those realizations and insights and be able to recognize our blind spots. And so I think a great amount of this transformation is going to be a feeling of natural unfolding, that we're supported very deeply from within. And then the second part would be connecting with Mother Earth energy directly through our body and in the multiple fractals of that. So what does that mean? It means connecting with our own Kundalini, the mother goddess in the root chakra. And it's always been kind of a joke to me that the most beautiful, the most powerful, the most wise energy has been placed in the root chakra. And then society tells us we are not allowed to go there. You are never to go there. You're never to look there, feel there, touch there. You should pretend like that whole part of your body is cut off. And that like reveals the twisted manipulation that's been going on for women. Because when we connect with that root chakra, and also the whole thing about these giant Kundalini experiences that scare us, that were going to happen and all that kind of stuff, it's just, that's really rare when you're skillfully taught to work with the energy in that root chakra. The purity and beauty of it starts to become your teacher. You don't even need a teacher from inside of you once you gently start connecting with the energy of this foundational chakra. And so that chakra has within it, the Kundalini is depicted as this snake serpent like creature that wraps 3.5 times around the central column. And so when we are skillfully taught to connect with that energy in a relaxed, gentle, opening way, the energy is so intelligent that it knows how to awaken and start to infuse and merge with our being in such an intelligent way that it knows how much we can take at any given time of the higher frequency energies. It knows where to go, where to open up on the physical, where we need healing on the physical. It knows where we need the healing on the emotional and the mental. And it's not a straight line. It knows exactly how to move through you in the most intelligent way to bring you into more coherence, more resonance with your higher frequency. And ultimately, it leads you to the divine masculine. The divine masculine, the way it's been taught, doesn't always lead you to the divine feminine. They can veer off a bit.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. But the divine feminine will lead you to the divine masculine and open you up to that so that the divine marriage, the divine balance of the masculine and feminine, with both energies being lit up, basically, then merging into one until you become the expression of the balanced divinity within you. Mm-hmm. So that can all happen once you come in contact with this energy and start to trust it. And, you can use some guidance and skillful teaching, which skillful teaching is really important right now. But that's where I think the greatest revelation will occur, because then we won't need religion. We won't need a hierarchical spiritual tradition. Mm. And we will come in contact with our inner teacher, who is the most beautiful teacher we could ever have.
Wow. So I've got quite a few questions and I want to try to remember them. Well, the first thing is a comment, actually, when you were saying about how we've been taught to cut off from that Kundalini energy and our sexual parts of our lower chakra, and I was going to say our body, but our whole body can be sexual. So the down below sexual parts. And we've been taught to cut off, to really cut off from them. And actually, I really thought about the word cutting, because of, in some parts of the world that still is happening. The genital mutilation, I mean. And also I was thinking about menopause, actually, because I run a crone circle, and one of the things that we talked about was that came up for me anyway was the womb, and how post-menopause I kind of just cut off from it entirely, the womb, as just something that was not only no longer relevant, it didn't even have any, it didn't get my attention in any way. And as you were saying that, I just thought, oh yes, that's another part of it. That's another manifestation of this separating from this amazing creative force that is within us, this divine teacher that's within us. I also had a beautiful image, it being the root chakra. And as I'm sitting here, I really felt like this this root coming out of, my vagina, and then just going right down and down and down into the earth. It wasn't a serpent, but it was a root, and I felt that so strongly. And the third thing I want to just say is the serpent and the movement, and just reflect in that the two images of the serpent that came to me. One is Eve in the garden of wherever she was. And the other one is I went to see the Black Madonna in Toulouse, which is near where I live in France. And on the floor, it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful image, this massive image, very colorful. And on the floor is a wonderful serpent in mosaic. And it just really, all of those things just came together as a sort of an understanding at some level of this presence has always been with us, but it has been portrayed in very different ways, so that we know it's still there, but the patriarchy can kind of pretend that it isn't. Okay, so
if I could comment on one thing, the serpent, when it awakens, goes down and up. So it becomes that root, because its intelligence will always go towards connecting to the wholeness. So into the earth, into Mother Earth, and then beyond Mother Earth, into the cosmos, into the universal oneness. So it's a downward and an upward spiral, rooting upward, rooting downward. And we exist in the wholeness of that oneness when we allow ourselves to be connected. And we can be connected while we're walking, talking. That's what makes a sacred world.
Yeah, because if we can only be if we say, well, it can only happen in when I'm meditating, for example, then we're only partially there. It's only like what happens the rest of the time, and we disconnected at those times. Something else that you said about this unfolding, just leaning into or allowing the unfolding, is such a beautiful experience, and it's something that I think a lot of us can find quite difficult to allow, because we're so trained in, if you want that, go get it. And so
we're trained in controlling.
Controlling, thinking we can control.
Right. I know.
So
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, so the unfolding. So I don't think you said about this, but how can we sort of allow ourselves to move into that unfolding experience?
So one thing for certain, it's not through the mind. It's not a mental experience, but sensing our body coming into an embodied state so that we start to feel safe. And that is a whole big part of the journey to begin with. And we mostly hang around outside of our bodies until we've figured out how to come back in and how to bring with us the light of our being. I mean, there's a very good reason why we don't spend time in our bodies, and that's because we kind of have to leave that light outside, given the surroundings and the conditioning that we have. So we leave our light hanging out around us instead of feeling like it's okay to bring it in. And then if it's okay to bring it in, then I might say something that might get someone upset because I'm speaking more from my truth than my conditioning. And so that's why I feel like this is a very big step. This is a big deal given how much abuse has happened and to our bodies and how we've internalized that abuse as well. And so this first step in terms of becoming an embodied woman is I take it very, very seriously, very seriously. I respect that process very strongly. But once we can do that, then we can start to sense into, with our intuition, the light of our being. And we have to find places that we trust and feel safe within and then that allows us to start opening and unfolding. It's always safety first, from my perspective.
I like that. And that again is contrary to what we're told all the time. You know, something that I come up against again and again is, you know, this pressure to get out of your comfort zone. And that's where you feel safe. And so, you know, sometimes it's appropriate and sometimes it's not appropriate to get out of your comfort zone. But I really love that you prioritize safety in this very important and deep process that is available to us.
You know, there's a difference between being guided to take a bigger step or a bigger leap and versus using masculine energy to strain, push, and like just achieve it. Completely different modalities. And one usually backfires at some point. It may not be immediate, but the masculine way of doing it ends up not being holistic in a lot of ways with that kind of approach. And so there's a huge difference in knowing from the guidance within when you should take those leaps, when you feel the courage and support to do it, and still it's a leap, but you know you've got something behind you holding you, then it's a completely different movement.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you. So let's talk a little bit about love and the role that that plays in, you know, us moving into being this new earth wise woman that we're going to be, or we are already.
I think a lot of the young people are really onto something with this in terms of recognizing that self-love and self-acceptance and appreciation is something that's really valuable, and not easily attained given the conditioning that we have had in the Western world. I can speak to that. So when we return to Mother Earth and have an experience of being held by her. So we have our biological adoptive mothers, and they're fallible just like us. You know, you can feel their love at some point and not feel their love at other point because they're humans. But the love of Mother Earth is completely sustainable and ever present. She is a consciousness that we live within. And this whole culture ignores the fact that we're here because we chose to be connected to Mother Earth. That's the reason we exist here. And that's another cutoff that has happened, you know, separating us from that. So it's not even just about ecology and the green movement, but it's about the consciousness of being connected with Mother Earth 24/7, which is entirely available. And once we're held with that kind of love, it then transfers into this beautiful love and valuing of our being. So it's something that just kind of seeps into us, that we're bonded with this great mother, this great goddess. And then through that natural bonding, we find all of a sudden we're in a state of self-love instead of self-loathing. Which is where we're coming from, is this self-loathing. Very often that voice that's in the head constantly monitoring how we're failing, right? And so it's an experience and readily available through energy work and meditative work. It's just there because it exists. It's just there. It's like,
so people who are living in very urban situations, and I'm thinking about how I used to live many years ago, and I lived in London, and I had small children, and I was busy working, and just just felt I didn't have a moment to myself. And I was aware that, I had a tree in my backyard, but I didn't have time to go and, sit with it particularly. And, it's very easy for us to be cut off, feel cut off from it, and also to say, oh yeah, I know that. And I don't have time at the moment. And, later on when the kids are I don't know, when they've gone to college, or when I've retired, when I don't have to work, when I've moved to the country, I've always got another time when we can do it better. It really speaks to what you said about self-loathing and failing. So what would you say to people who sort of feel that they might be in that situation?
So this is what I teach. No matter where we are, no matter where we are in relationship to the earth, excuse me, if we're on a plane 5 miles up in the air, if we're just walking around in our high heels or tennis shoes, whatever, you are connected to the earth by connecting to your body. First place. The minute you connect to your body, you just say, oh, I feel my fingers here. I feel my rear end sitting on a chair spreading out. I feel my feet touching the ground. You can start connecting back. And so I suggest that people try that 50 times a day for 1 second.
Okay.
Literally 1 second. So all you do is, like, I'm sitting in my car, I'm driving the kids, I'm opening the refrigerator, trying to feed them, and I'm just going to think of my feet for 1 second. And what that does is the energy follows your attention. That's what energy does. And so I used to have signs all over the house: seat, feet, seat, feet. Remind myself for just 1 second. But if we can do that many times a day, it'll retrain our consciousness to direct downward instead of up and out, because we usually go up and out. And up and out is to, like, some God in the sky, male, right? And down and in is towards the feminine. And so if you can do that as many times a day, and it's amazing how children love to do it. They can feel the energy really quickly. So if you have them dancing with stamping their feet, or, just picking up leaves in the yard or whatever, you can have a moment after moment, 1 second at a time, and it retrains your consciousness to come back in, feel your whole body, bring your energy in, and then you're in a different place. All of a sudden, you're in the stillness, you're in the center rather than in the chaos. But you just do that for a second at a time. You don't set up any bigger expectation than that. And the more often you do that, it just automatically starts retraining you. And then once you have allowed yourself to come back in, even for a second, you start to have a benefit from it. And then I remember saying to myself, once I felt that, I don't ever want to live without this. I don't ever want to lose this feeling of having my integrity, my energy, myself back, retrieved from all the chaos. And that motivated me to try to bring that in second by second.
Yeah.
So that's one way that I would approach it. And I truly respect motherhood and the busyness and all the goals and attainments that women have and want to put their passion and effort to. And so this doesn't have to be time consuming, but it should be attention consuming for 1 second at a time.
Mhm. That's brilliant. And we can all do that, and it can transform us even when we're in like like if we're in the metro or somewhere where you kind of feel I can't think of the word, I'm thinking of a French word. You don't feel, you just
Okay.
feel like, oh, oh, I don't like this.
Right.
And we can just do that, and I can just immediately feel that. In fact, you invited me to do that before we spoke today, so so I know how powerful it is. Sarah, I don't know, do you want to do you want to lead us through a little exercise?
Sure, we can do that. And also I want to say that you don't always have to be, you don't, to ground and connect with Mother Earth, you don't have to be barefoot and out in the woods or on the grass or anything like that. The way to picture it is, if there's gravity, there's Mother Earth. Gravity is Mother Earth's love holding us to her heart.
That is beautiful. That's beautiful and easy to remember and connect into. Thank you for that.
So wherever, so it can go through your rubber shoes, your whatever you're wearing, your spacesuit, whatever, your Spanx, it doesn't matter what it is. But because we are living in her heart right now all the time. So we forget that. And so we can take a moment just to sense that we are living in Mother Earth's energy field. We are living in her heart. The stratosphere surrounds us, the breath, the air surrounds us. We're here. We are already in her being. And so I really enjoy feeling the energy in my body. And so I sink myself down into the soles of my feet. So you can allow yourself to just kind of gently wave down, bring your attention through your body. And this could be a shorter or longer process, however you like to do it. And I have several meditations that are free on my website that take you through this. And you start lowering down, and you can feel the muscles relaxing and everything sinking towards the ground. And you should feel heavier. There's not one woman on the planet that wants to feel heavier. But when we sink into the beginnings of connecting with Mother Earth, we're going to feel heavier. We're going to feel like our body is shedding downward. And you can move through your body. You can come down to your seat where your coccyx is and invite that lower back and the tailbone to drop and soften. We never do that. Maybe in a yoga class or some Tai Chi. But you want to invite that lower back, the hips, the muscles all around that whole pelvis to soften and release. There's a tremendous amount of holding that occurs there. And once that tailbone can be freed up from the tension, it'll start to have a little rhythm and a little pulse, kind of like a seahorse tail, uncurling and curling very gently. And this is the energy they work with in the craniosacral modality. So it starts to activate the energy in the chakras. And then you might notice that you're holding more in your thighs and your calf muscles. And you start to bring your attention downward through the interior of your body and invite those thighs to soften and release. Breathe into them. And then you come down into the calf muscles, and you might have to adjust yourself on your chair or whatever. And you invite the calf muscles to soften and release. And the calf muscles are the real barometer of the tension in our body. So when those calf muscles are tight, they pull on all the soft tissue and musculature of the body. And they create a tightening effect all the way up to the top of the head. And then we invite those calf muscles to soften and release. And it doesn't have to be 100% every time. You just do a little bit every single time. And then you come down to the soles of your feet. And right in the middle of the arch is an energy center. And you actually know these energy centers in the palms of your hands. If someone says to you, point to the middle of your palm, you know exactly where it is, no doubt. And if I say to you, find the center of your arch, you'll know that on the right foot and the left foot. And this starts opening up the connection between the earth energy and your body and your energy field. And you might be able to feel a flow, a tingle, even an itch would indicate that the energy is starting to flow. And then you also might simultaneously feel your seat starting to relax and spread out. And it actually looks like you're sitting in a lotus blossom with the long lotus root going straight down into the earth. So the root comes out from the base of the spine and it comes out through the centers on the soles of the feet and forms a triangular structure that points downward and merges as one, connecting down into the heart of the mother, the love of Mother Earth. And as you sit with this by yourself, you start to know yourself a little differently. You might be able to breathe a little easier. You might have visions of great goddesses, of Mother Mary, of archangels holding you. But you become immersed in acceptance and love. It starts streaming through you. And then the intelligence of this love starts a healing journey through your body. And like I said, it doesn't all happen at one time. It can. You can have a gigantic experience of total release and beautiful immersion in the light energy and the love. But don't underestimate little bits of practice daily, weekly, however often you can do it, because it starts building this awareness within you. And before you know it, you start referring back to that and feeling safer and safer, letting go into this. And then this higher intelligence starts to help you feel safe, help you have realizations and insights, and also the physical feeling of the energy that ultimately wakes up all the cellular energy, brings light through your body, enlivens you, as well as bringing peace. And when we get to peace, then we get to silence. And when we're in the silence, we get to know our light and love within us. We become the divinity that we seek. And it's okay. You can sit there, or you're ready to jump up and do what you do. That's all fine. But it's the repetitive practice that sets in motion this relationship. And you're developing a relationship with the all-pervading, all-loving, divine love, divine mother.
I feel that we need help to come out of this space because I could just stay in it.
Okay. So you might wiggle your toes a little bit. And the idea is to not jump out. Breathe a little more deeply. Feel your tummy, feel your body. See all these places we never want to feel. Our tummies, our seats are the places where the richest energies are. And what if you maintain that awareness while also speaking? It's very different. You might speak a little differently than you normally would. You might be slower, speak more slowly. You won't be thinking about who you need to please or take care of. But a new voice can come out. And this is the voice of the new feminine, the new earth feminine.
truly didn't want to come out, you know.
And so you can sit there feeling this in the background. I call it it's kind of a background program running, like the program on your computer is running the background while you're on the screen of the computer, with the words.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've taught myself. And that's what everyone can teach themselves, is to always have that running as a background program. And you can kind of sink into it or pull out of it. But if you pull out of it too much, then you go back into the conditioning. So it's a fine balance and a movement, kind of as you need. If you start getting depleted because you've done too much or talked too much, then you come back to it. If you need more, let's say, answers to questions, you come back into it, and then you can talk about the answers to your questions. So you're always in that space, but to a different degree according to what you need to do.
Beautiful. Yes. Wow. That is amazing. It is amazing. And just shows us a real way and what's possible as we are the new earth wise women, as we be the new earth wise women. I don't really want to talk anymore, because I know that, that was a deep experience for me, even in such a short time. But I do know that everybody will be very much wanting to know, okay, so, this has been great. This has been an experience that, they want to have more of, or they want to know more about. And I know you've got some offerings to share with people. So would you like to speak to those?
Sure. The offering that I'm offering for free is called the Loving Body Workshop. And this was a workshop that I did in last fall. So it's pre-recorded, but the theme of it is what we just did. It's how do you come back into understanding that your body, the energy of your body, is fully loving and embracing you. It's not something to be afraid of. That the natural energy of the body, in all of its synchronous functioning, is sourced out of pure love. And so it's a one-day workshop, and you'll follow along with the teachings and 3 very deep meditations in that workshop. So that is on my website. There's instructions on how to access that. You can do that at your own time. You don't have to do the whole thing at one time. You can come back to it. It'll be accessible to you. So please try that out. And then I have a series of classes that I run on Monday nights in the Eastern time zone at 8:00. And the theme this year is vibrational living. And so those are available for you to register for. I have one starting tonight. They start every 6 weeks. And the theme this year is learning how to first experience the vibrations, the frequency of your being, and then translate them into your living space. So sometimes we experience energies and vibrations and we don't know how to speak about them. We don't know how to integrate them. And so this whole series is about how to do that. So that goes throughout the whole year, and everyone's invited to register for that.
Fabulous.
And
Everybody, there's information and links below here. So, if this is speaking to you, then that's the place to go. You can explore, you can really just allow yourself to connect with your inner guidance and trust that. Go where it takes you. And Sarah, I know you've got an invitation for people to donate as well.
A very dear friend of mine spends a lot of time in Mexico, and She has created a diabetes clinic for the indigenous people on Isla Mujeres in Mexico. It's an island off of Cancun. And unfortunately, the Western diet has infiltrated the native people there. And so diabetes is the #1 killer in Mexico. And on this island, she has gathered resources and created a clinic that has 15 medical personnel serving whoever will come there, and it's all for free. And I was just there, and it's really incredible. It's really doing a huge service for this population. So that's where I would like some donations to go.
Brilliant. And everyone, again, the information and link for that is below. So, follow up and see. Just, people are doing such incredible things all over the place. And, we're all connected and we can all support each other in this. And if that speaks to you, then, please do feel free to make a donation. Sarah, it's been wonderful. It's been truly wonderful. I feel a little bit lost for words because I feel I'm still processing that experience that you took us through. And I don't want to go into my head, which is where I can often go. So I'm just going to leave it at that and just say a massive thank you to you. Yes, thank you.
Thank you for all the beautiful work and teachings you're offering to people. You are doing a huge service of the mother to do this. So I really appreciate it. And like I said before, when I see you, I see the Great Mother, the Holy Mother, standing behind you with her wings outspread and holding you and channeling through you this work that you're doing. So thank you.
Oh, that touches my heart. Thank you so much, Sarah. And thank you everyone for being here today. And wow, what a great experience we've just had together. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Blessings to everyone.